Jeremiah chapter 17 verses 7 to 8. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, and whose trust is the Lord. For he will be like a tree planted by the water, that extends its roots by a stream, and will not fear when the heat comes. But its leaves will be green, and it will not be anxious in a year of drought, nor cease to yield fruit. In week 1 of the recently completed CTBC prayer course, Pete Greig, whose book forms the basis of the course, relates a story about one day talking to God about a tree. I immediately related to it. I like trees, and I will often just stop and admire them. Trees remind me of one of the poems my mother loves to recite. Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Sometimes it is the sheer scale of the trees which stops me in my tracks. For example, the large fir tree at Hazelhead Park. I find it impossible to look at this tree without wondering how it's able to support itself. The remarkable root system reminds me of the church family, bound together in faith by the teaching of Jesus. It also seems timeless. I can remember visiting the park as a small boy with my parents, and the tree seemed as large then as it is now. Some trees I admire because of the beautiful colours and shapes, and of course every day is different, particularly in autumn. I remember passing through the car park at Hazelhead Park a few years ago while walking our dog Ollie. It was autumn, and the pine needles had been falling from the trees which surround the car park. The whole car park was covered in pine needles, giving the appearance that it was paved with gold. The organic covering is much more to my taste than the metal version, which to me would seem cold and brash. However, trees are much more than this. Science tells us that the rainforests are the lungs of the planet, with the likes of the giant redwood capturing tons of carbon dioxide, providing homes to thousands of plants, insects, birds, and animals. Some trees may hold the answers for cures to disease, and some are already valuable sources of medicines which we currently use. In providing us with trees, God gave us not only shelter from the rain, shade from the sun, and a source of fuel for our fires, but material to build with, and of course a source of wonder at his creative hand. Some trees look very ordinary on the outside, but when we split the wood and the skills of the master carpenter are applied, the inner beauty of the wood is revealed. The same is true when we allow Jesus, the master carpenter, to work in our lives. To close, a prayer from the Iona community. The master carpenter, who at the last through wood and nails purchased our salvation, wield well your tools in the workshop of the world, so that we who come rough-hewn to your bench may here be fashioned to a truer beauty by your hand. We ask this for your name and your sake. Amen.